Good morning, everyone. My name is Chun-Hsi Wang from Taiwan. My topic now is the legal framework for cultural landscape and in Taiwan. Next slide, please. As I have to say, because in Taiwan, the most important preservation tools will be Cultural Heritage Preservation Act. It's most important. And it was first legislated in 1982, and which time most of the designated targets were building and the monuments. So as you can see, the most cases in Taiwan is cultural heritage is building and the monuments. Next slide, please. So the first time we have the cultural landscape is in the amendment of the Act in 2005. So at that time, the definition in the Act was listed as the spaces and the related environment of the myth, legend, circumstances, historical events, community life, or ceremony. So in this type, next slide, please. So during the definition, there are so many categories of cultural landscape cases in Taiwan. I have to say some, I will show you some examples, such like the roots of historical cultural facts, religious landscape, historical garden, and the most important is the last, the interaction between humankind and natural environment. That's it was listed in our legal systems. Next slide, please. In this map, we shows some cases in Taiwan. In our legal framework, the local government can list it cultural landscape in their land, and then if there's some important cases, they will introduce to central government to list it as the important cultural landscape in the central government. There are now 72 cases in Taiwan. Next slide, please. But there are some problems arising from the definition of 2005. The definition of 2005 was I have to say it's very ambiguous, which resulted several unclear registered cases. For instance, some cases maybe have been registered as cultural landscape, but have a building as their major attributes. I have so like this small village, it was abandoned, but it was the military camp in Taiwan. But this was registered as cultural landscape because it was a military landscape. Next slide, please. Although this may fit the definition of the Act of 2005, the appearance of this cultural landscape would be more like a place with cultural influence, which is far from the international recognition of cultural landscape. Next slide, please. In this chart, I will show you the analysis of the cases. The blue part is the wrong cases in my point of view, and the red part is somehow it was correct, but still have some problem. And the green one is the fine cases. As you can see, through the more than 10 years more now, the blue one is the most important part in our cases, and the green one, the good cases, very few in my point of view. Next slide, please. Since Taiwan's cultural heritage are mainly based on architecture, it may face controversy when some building may not reach the value of monuments or historical building. We have the several categories of cultural heritage, like the building and the monuments, settlements, archaeology site, cultural landscape, and the nature site, and also some intangible sites. But the most important and the largest cases are in monuments and the buildings. So when the building is not meet the value in the listed buildings, they will try to to find a different category to meet at the cultural heritage. Next slide, please. This building are registered as a cultural landscape to meet the condition of this listed cultural heritage. However, subsequent restoration and reuse of the building is different from the site and the dynamic characteristic of cultural landscape. Someone may say that this was like the urban landscape. I have to say the most important question is they are trying to preserve the buildings, not the urban landscape. Next slide, please. Here is the chart I explained how the problems in the cases. There are some problems like the building are as the main body, controversial and resistant in the preservation process. And the most part is most cases are in the number 3. And in this number 3, there are subcategory are others. Okay, I see.
Excuse me, Tom,
yeah. Thank you. Next step, please. Next step, please. In 2016, a new amendment of the, the last one, the last slide. The last slide. Yeah. So there are new definition. Locations or environment formed through long-time interaction between human beings and the natural environment, which are of value from the point of view of history, aesthetics, ethnology, and anthropology. Next slide, please. So here are some good cases we can see, like there is a farmland landscape, although it was originally proposed as listed cultural heritage for tourism reasons. The main landscape theme is the distribution of farmland and the operation of the canals, which is in line with cultural landscape. Next slide, please. Another one is the stone wires in Penghu. It's a very good example. Because the stone wire has to match the natural environmental factors such as tide, wind, and the waves. Next slide, please. So I have the so it's the legal framework. We have to, after this video, we have to conservation management principle, and then have a conservation and management plan. If necessary, have a preservation plan. It's for zoning and the urban plan. Next slide, please. Here's my concluding remarks. So using the law as a tool, preservation, conservation, a clear definition is very basic requirement. Next slide, please. Especially in face of potential destruction of cultural landscape, the definition cultural landscape is often expanded to try to provide control measures for Cultural Heritage Preservation Act. However, this will lead to greater ambiguity in the type of cultural landscape. Next slide, please. In particular, a difference in the way cultural landscapes are preserved and maintained will also affect whether they can distinguish it from other type of cultural heritage. So particularly, the difference between how to emphasize the preservation of driving forces and the preservation of objects is my key issue. Next slide, please. Thank you for your attention. 谢谢。